I'm Brad Hutchings, creator of the Mojo Knowledge Appliance. I recently wrote a post on LinkedIn titled AI is a Lie, or more diplomatically, a maliciously undisclosed illusion. I'd like to set aside the chat illusion, which I consider the most malicious of all of AI's illusions, and show you how your questions get answered. Large language models run what's called the completion algorithm. It takes an input and tries to complete it, one random best enough token, or word, at a time. You've probably read many a critic point this out, but not have a visual sense of what that means, so I'm going to show you. First, we're using the completion user interface. There's no fake AI entity I'm pretending to have a conversation with. Here I type something to get a document started, and then I let the computer run with it. I'm running this on a $250 Mojo Knowledge appliance that I showed you earlier, which I created and I sell. It's not blisteringly fast, so the long generative portions are sped up in post-production in this video. Mojo Completion presents us a blank canvas to work with. I'll use Chrome's bookmarking system to create a premise. Here are the characters. Mona is a 7-year-old white boxer dog. She likes going for walks, playing with toys, and eating. Johnny is a 2-year-old Jack Russell Terrier Corgi mixed dog. He is black and white with brown highlights. He loves playing with all his toys and enjoys walking and eating. He is also a good cuddler. Eeyore is the fictional character from Winnie the Pooh. And we're going to make up a story where Mona, Johnny, and Eeyore receive a small box in the mail containing a magical device called the Mojo Knowledge Appliance. This might go well, this might not. I'm going to start completion. I'm going to let this complete, and then I will read some of it to you. And then we'll do some experiments. All right, let's read this story. The rain hammered against the windows of the cozy little house, a steady gray rhythm that matched the mood of Eeyore. He sat slumped on the worn armchair, a picture of perpetual gloom, as Mona, a bouncy white boxer, and Johnny, a whirlwind of black and white fur, zoomed around him. "Look, Eeyore, I found a squeaky hedgehog," Johnny yipped, dropping a toy at Eeyore's feet. Eeyore barely glanced at it. "It's pointless," he mumbled, pushing the hedgehog away with a weary paw. Mona, ever the optimist, nudged his leg with her wet nose. "Don't be sad, Eeyore, it's fun." Just then the doorbell rang, startling them all. A small brown box sat on the doorstep, addressed to all three of them. It was unusually light. "What's this?" Mona barked, sniffing the box excitedly. "Let's open it," Johnny yipped, bouncing with anticipation. With a collective heave, they managed to pry open the box. Inside, nestled in a bed of tissue paper, was a small silver device with a blinking red light and a single oversized button. A small card lay beside it. "The Mojo Knowledge Appliance. Activate for instant wisdom," it read. A what?" Eeyore asked, his voice flat. "It's a magical device," Mona exclaimed, already pawing at the button. "It gives you knowledge." Before anyone could stop her, Mona pressed the button. The device whirred, the red light flashed intensely, and a voice surprisingly deep and slightly robotic boomed from the appliance. "Analyzing, processing, knowledge transfer initiated." Suddenly, Mona began to speak in a very formal tone. "Greetings. I now possess an extensive understanding of the complexities of canine behavioral psychology, including the nuances of scent marking and the optimal trajectory for a thrown tennis ball." She then promptly chased her tail, utterly bewildered. Johnny, eager to try it, pressed the button himself. "Analyzing, processing, knowledge transfer initiated." This time, Johnny's voice was high-pitched and frantic. "I know everything about the history of squeaky toys. Did you know the first squeaky toy was invented in 1923 by a man named Bartholomew Snugglesworth, and he used a rubber chicken?" He proceeded to launch into a detailed and utterly irrelevant lecture on the evolution of squeaky toys. I'm going to stop there because the story just kind of gets bad for the Mojo from there. You might have seen it as it scrolled by. But what we're going to do is we're going to go back and we're going to have it restart the story from a certain point. So I think we're going to restart it right here when Mona presses the button. I used a little feature of Mojo completion to click and delete, and I'm going to start completing from this point. Now, if you remember, she learned about canine psychology. We'll stop it here. Suddenly, Mona began to speak in a surprisingly articulate voice. "Did you know," she announced, tilting her head, "that the average boxer's lifespan is 10 to 12 years, and that they are known for their gentle nature and love of belly rubs?" So you can see the story changed from there. Let's do that one more time. I'm going to undo what the Mojo just generated for us, and I'm going to have it generate again. Let's stop. Suddenly, Mona began to speak in a perfectly articulate, slightly condescending tone. "Fascinating. The optimal trajectory for retrieving a tennis ball is determined by a complex algorithm factoring in wind resistance, canine agility, and the perceived value of the object." It's quite elementary, really. So as you can see, we got 3 different paragraphs about what Mona learned from Mojo. And that's because it doesn't pre-plan the story when it starts writing the story. What it does is it works one token by one token. Let's go back and do this one more time. And this time, we're not going to have it complete the story. We're only going to have it generate 10 tokens at a time. Suddenly, Mona began to speak in a sophisticated. Let's do that again. Suddenly, Mona began to speak in a perfectly articulate. Let's do that again. Suddenly, Mona began to speak in a very formal. Let's do that again. Suddenly, Mona began to speak in a remarkably articulate. So, as you can see, it really is generating one best enough random token at a time, much like when you play the autocomplete game on your phone. You pick a word, you pick a word, you pick a word, and you get a sentence out of it. And the magic of LLMs is that these come out as plausible answers, plausible completions. That's what's magical about them. But this is how they do it. They don't do it through planning. They don't do it through thinking. I hope this helps you understand how large language models create their answers. It's not by thinking or intelligence. It's one best enough random token or word at a time. If you'd like to work with LLMs this way with your own private model, you can buy a Mojo Knowledge Appliance for $250 from mmojo.net, mojo.net. It takes about 10 minutes to install on your home network. You can do it. I'm Brad Hutchings. Have a good day.